Back in 2010, George Osborne thought he could get rid of the hole in the budget by the next election. It turned out he couldn't.
Councillor, how much is it going to hurt?
That's not because Whitehall departments have failed to deliver cuts. Quite the opposite. It's all down to the poor performance of the economy and the Office for Budget Responsibility's increasingly gloomy view of how fast we can grow in the future.
So they've managed to get the spending cuts so far to stick. In fact, they've over-delivered on the spending cuts, but there's still a lot more to do because of that lack of tax revenue.
We've got you a virtual Treasury courtyard to go through some of the numbers we're talking about. Now, government spending in the financial or tax year 2015-16 is forecast to be £745 billion. But this review only deals with part of that bill, the £314 billion that Whitehall departments get for day-to-day spending on things like schools, transport and the police. Now, this is what their budget looks like for next year, the tax year that begins in April 2014. And you can see the really big spenders are health and education, ranging down to international development and the Home Office. Now, we know George Osborne's looking for savings of £11.5 billion. And if those were spread evenly across departments, every minister would be facing an extra 2.3% cut after inflation. But we know that won't happen because the government has again promised to ring-fence or protect spending on the NHS, on schools and on international aid. Now, he could spread the cuts evenly over all the other unprotected departments, but if the Chancellor follows the same pattern as the last review, defence will come off relatively lightly and there'll be a bigger squeeze for the Home Office, transport and local government, who would then have seen their budgets cut by nearly a third after inflation since 2010. George Osborne may say tomorrow's review will help frame a debate in the lead up to the election about the future shape of the state. But it's already changing quite dramatically without very much debate at all. Stephanie Flanders, BBC News.